Shabbat Shalom. This is Larry Mitchell. We are going through the Apocalypse of Jesus Christ, also known as the Book of the Revelation. This morning we are going to conclude Revelation chapter 18, the judgment of Babylon the Great. We begin in Revelation 18, 9 and 10. The kings of the earth who committed fornication and lived luxuriously with her will weep and lament for her when they see the smoke of her burning, standing at a distance for fear of torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour your judgment has come. We see from here that Babylon the Great is a political center. I think this may be a reference to the United Nations, because behind the scenes, the United Nations is pushing to bring in the new world order, a one world government, a one world religion, and a one world economic system headed by their false messiah, the Antichrist. Here we also see that Babylon the Great is an economic center. The world economy seems to be centered in the New York Stock Exchange. Revelation 18, 11 to 17. And the merchants of the earth will weep and mourn over her, for no one buys their merchandise anymore. Merchandise of gold and silver, precious stones and pearls, fine linen, purple, silk and scarlet, every kind of citron wood, every kind of object of ivory, every kind of object of the most precious wood, bronze, iron, marble, cinnamon, incense, fragrant oil, frankincense, wine and oil, fine flour and wheat, cattle and sheep, horses and chariots, and bodies and souls of men. The fruit that your soul longed for is gone from you, and all the things which are rich and splendid have gone from you. You shall find them no more at all. The merchant of these things who became rich by her will stand at a distance for fear of her torment, weeping and wailing and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed with fine linen, purple and scarlet, adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour such great riches came to nothing. Every shipmaster and all who traveled by ship, sailors and as many trade on the sea, stood at a distance and cried out when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What is like this great city? Babylon the Great is the center of world trade. Here we see the mention of precious metals, gold, silver, precious stones, and pearls. We see the mention of textiles, fine linen and purple, silk and scarlet. We have the mention of art, every kind of citron wood, every kind of object of ivory, every kind of object of most precious wood. Here we see it's a center of manufacturing, bronze, iron, and marble. We see it's a center of commodities, cinnamon and incense, fragrant oil and frankincense, wine and oil, fine flour and wheat, cattle, sheep, and horses. Center of industries, chariots, which I think is probably John's description of modern vehicles, and the body and souls of men. Agenda of the globalists would seem to want to enslave all humanity to their new world order. The recent lockdown may have been a trial run for the Great Reset of 2030, where they openly say, you will own nothing and you will be happy. Revelation 18, 19. And they threw dust on their head and they cried out, weeping and wailing and saying, Alas, alas, that great city in which all who had ships on the sea became rich by her wealth. For in 1 hour she is made desolate. Babylon the Great is a great port city. It cannot be speaking of Rome. I've been to Rome. They have a little shipyard on the river, but it certainly isn't a place of international trade. The ships go to Naples, not to Rome. Revelation 18, 20 to 24. Rejoice over her, O heaven, and you holy apostles and prophets, for God has avenged you on her. Then a mighty angel took a stone like a great millstone and threw it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence the great city Babylon will be thrown down, and shall not be found any more. The sound of harpists, musicians, flutists, trumpeters shall not be heard in you any more. No craftsman of any craft shall be found in you any more, and the sound of millstone shall not be heard in you any more. The light of a lamp shall not shine in you any more, and the voice of the bridegroom and bride shall not be heard in you any more. For your merchants were great men of the earth, for by your sorcery all the nations were deceived. And in her was found the blood of the prophets and saints, and all who were slain on the earth. It will appear that the judgment of Babylon the Great will be an apocalyptic act of God, perhaps a tsunami, because it's described as a great millstone thrown into the sea, contrasted with Rome, which will be destroyed by the followers of the Antichrist. Revelation 17:16 and 17. And the 10 horns which you saw on the beast, these will hate the harlot, make her desolate and naked, eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For God has put into their hearts to fulfill his purpose, to be of one mind and to give their kingdom to the beast until the words of God are fulfilled. Here are some more clues to the identification of Babylon the Great. It is a center of music, harpists, musicians, flutists, trumpeters. Rome is not known as being a city where people go to enjoy music. I've been to Broadway. I've seen one of their productions. That was one of the things I wanted to do when I went to New York. Visit one of the music shows on Broadway. New York is famous for music, a center of art. And here we see it referred to as craftsmen of any crafts. An industrial center, the sound of the millstone. A city of lights, once again. Rome is not known as a city of lights, but Broadway is. The lights of Broadway. They even have songs talking about the lights of Broadway. A honeymoon destination, the voice of bridegroom and bride. There'll be no more honeymoons in New York City. For by your sorceries all the nations were deceived. If you start looking closely at the United Nations, you'll find that the United Nations has become a major center of New Age pagan religions and cults, all working to bring in the New World Order. And then there was found the blood of prophets and saints and all who were slain on the earth. After the tribulation period, the saints and those who refuse to take the mark of the beast will be beheaded by the Antichrist and his followers. Revelation 20, verse 4. And I saw the thrones, and they that sat on them, and judgment was committed to them. Then I saw the souls of those who had been beheaded for their witness to Jesus and for the word of God, who had not worshipped the beast or his image, and had not received his mark on their foreheads or on their hands, and they lived and reigned with Christ for 1,000 years. I believe the United Nations centered in New York will play a major role in murdering those who refuse to submit to the authority of the Antichrist. This is Larry Mitchell with Friends of Israel. Shabbat Shalom.